What is up, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to another year, right? We're back for year number 2, I guess. Not season number 2, but year number 2 for Fantasy Time, right? And we are going to be back. Everyone's going to be back. Brandon's going to be back. Meet on the 50 is going to be back. We're going to be breaking down every single game coming at you this season. But first, of course, we got to start off with the draft breakdown, right? Yes, so of course, what I did for you guys is I redesigned, kind of refitted, re-outfitted the fantasy draft projections for this season. I included 2 new websites, I should say, one repeating from last year. And we're going to break it all down. And I made it so simple for you that if you do not use this guide, I do hope that you lose. I'm going to be honest with you. I hope that you lose your league because you're not getting the best information that is out there for you. And yes, we're dropping this video a little bit into preseason, right? Week 1 preseason, we just saw some debuts, saw some good gameplay. We've seen the Lions on Hard Knocks. I mean, if you don't want them to win this season, there is something wrong with you. Check your heart, check your brain, check your mental state of mind, because there is something wrong with you if you don't want the Lions to win this season after watching Hard Knocks, right? So we're going to get into all of it today. But first, you guys know what I like to tell you. If at any point during this video, if you like what you see, please smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and please just tap on that bell notification. That way, anytime new episodes drop, you're right there. You can just get the action, you can get the information, because I did it last season, so it makes sense that I'm going to do it this season. I'm just going to be dropping knowledge all season long, and we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep into it. We might be adding new layers to Fantasy Time. I'm excited to deep dive into that. We will talk about more about those things in future episodes, so I am excited about that. But without further ado, let's get into our draft projection breakdown. Alrighty, let's get into it. So as you can see, I got it all there for you. I did it again, right? You're welcome. Helping you guys out. That's just what I do. I laid it all out for you guys. I've deep dove, I should say, into even more players this year than there were on this last year. So again, it's ever evolving. We got plenty of players. You're not going to run out of people this time, like I know that some of you did last time. We're not going to run out of people. We got it all there for you. The 3 sites that you have that you now don't even need to worry about looking on the websites, because I added it there for you. We have ESPN, Yahoo, and Sleeper. Sleeper is the new upcoming fantasy app. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's a really nice, really easy app to use. So we got ESPN, Yahoo, and Sleeper, kind of the 3 most popular fantasy apps being used at the current moment. So let's get into this. We're not going to spend too much time on the draft board because, as you can see, there is way too much information. This will be posted everywhere that Fantasy Time has to do with. That way you can access this and use this for your draft. I promise you it will help you out. We're going to go here to the quick draft guide, and I've just expanded it from last year. I've just made it easier, right? So we have the draft board, we have the quick draft guide, and then we have the under the radar guide. Super duper simple. What I did also for you is we got the fantasy leaders, right? So as you can see, Josh Allen, back-to-back fantasy number 1, QB number 1. That's something to take note of. Justin Herbert, right? Last year, Jonathan Taylor went off. Austin Eckler, always solid, right? Cooper Kupp, Debo, and Devontae Adams. Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Dallas Cowboys, right? Buffalo Bills for defense. Daniel Carlson, super clutch. And then Nick Folk. So those were your leaders for last season. Now, besides tight end, right, there's not too many repeat leaders. That's the main thing and the reason why I do this, is to show you guys that there are not too many repeat leaders. So if you think that you are going to, pick Austin Eckler and he's getting running back 2, chances are it's not going to happen. So just always keep that in mind when you are drafting and when you are looking at your information. But we're going to go down here. We're just going to go through the positions. Very simple, very easy. I'm going to pick out some of the guys, and then we'll move forward from there. So first and foremost, we're going to start with the QBs, your money QBs, right? These are the guys that I feel are basically going to go out week in and week out, get you your fantasy points, get you what you need, not really let you down. And these guys are all set up for prime seasons, right? We got Patrick Mahomes, who is now trying to prove himself without Tyreek Hill. Joe Burrow, can he return to the Super Bowl after last season, right? Lamar Jackson changing his throwing motion, so he looks like a better QB. Russell Wilson now in Denver, no longer in Seattle, right? The Russell era in Seattle is over, finito, done with. So Russell Wilson now in Denver. How is he going to do? Electric receiving corps, so watch out for that. Matt Stafford coming off the Super Bowl win. We're gonna see. I mean, he's gotten Allen Robinson now, so he's added a weapon. So he's basically should do better than last season. I believe he's going to do better than last season. So we will see. Then last but not least, we have the man who I just respect more than anyone at this point, simply because he's only playing this season out of spite against Adam Scheffler, who ruined his retirement announcement. So this season is for you, Adam. And honestly, I hope Tom takes it all. And the only thing I hope he says is, go fuck yourself, Adam Scheffler. That's all I hope. That is all I hope. But that is going to do it for the monies, right? Then we got the gambles worth the risk, right? Kyler, he's always good, but he always either gets injured later on in the season, right? Ankle injuries we've seen, or he kind of falls off, right? The Arizona Cardinals start off super hot, then the second half of the season, they just fall off a cliff and you don't even recognize them anymore. So we'll see what happens there. Derek Carr is going to definitely deserve a look this season with Davante Adams, with the new head coach, with an actual head coach, right? And with a guy who can actually get this organization turned around, it looks like. So we will see there, but Derek Carr, definitely a gamble worth the risk. Matt Ryan, now on the Indianapolis Colts, a gamble worth the risk. Watch out for Matt Ryan. Trevor Lawrence coming into his second season, coming off a terrible first season, but having a horrible head coach in Urban Meyer. Not really getting into the flow of the offense, not really getting into the speed of the game. Now having a Super Bowl winning coach in Doug Peterson, so we shall see how they do. Jalen Hurts, watch out for him to be electric this season. Tua, I mean, the question marks on Tua are going to be answered this season because now he has weapons that he should be able to utilize and dominate with. New head coach as well. So Tua is also another one. And then last but not least on here, gamble worth the risk on Trey Lance. This guy can easily be sitting on the bench last season and be a 2022 MVP candidate this season. So watch out for Trey Lance on the 49ers, now at the helm. Jimmy G, done. Where will he be traded to? Probably the New York Giants, because they need a quarterback. We know they need a quarterback. So watch out for that. Rock solids. Only rock solid I see is Aaron Rodgers. Lost Davante Adams, so we will see how he comes back. For our bubble boys, we got Ryan Tannehill, who, I mean, if you watched the playoff game last year, you should have zero faith in Ryan Tannehill's ability. Justin Fields, can he bounce back? He should be able to. Can he? Zach Wilson, I mean, making the biggest offseason news to date, right? So Zach Wilson out there throwing bombs, and you know the last part. So Mac Jones, right? Second season with the Patriots. Who's going to be his offensive coordinator? Because right now, Bill Belichick doesn't know. He's flip-flopping between Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. Bill, you got to make a decision or this kid's career is done so. All right, Carson Wentz, new quarterback on the Commanders. Yep, Marcus Mariota. Watch out for him in Atlanta. Baker Mayfield, the drama is finally over. Now in Carolina. Still a bubble boy, but definitely worth the look. And then you got Daniel Jones. Holy moly. Daniel Jones is, Daniel Jones needs help. He needs help. We're going down to our fresh meat, which is always the rookies, and then we got our hard passes, right? So look out for Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, Kenny Pickett, who may earn the starting job there in Pittsburgh, Matt Carroll, Sam Howell. Hard passes, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You know, you got Sam Darnold, Davis Mills. In terms of fantasy, we're going to avoid Jared Goff. Doesn't mean we don't want him to have a good season, but Jared Goff, you're being avoided. Then we got Drew Lock, right? And Mitch Trubisky. Don't worry about them. Don't even pay them no mind. Moving on to the running backs, right? Our money running backs, they're basically the same. I mean, the only new person in the money running backs, I would say, is Najee Harris, right? Watch out for Najee. Poised to have a good season. It's going to be tough because they're not going to really have a lot there in Pittsburgh. So watch out for Najee Harris. Watch out for George Pickens, right? Watch out for those two guys because they can light it up for sure. Gamble's worth the risk. Christian McCaffrey is now a gamble based on his injury past. He gets injured way too much for people to be drafting him in the first or second round. He really deserves to be falling to the fourth or sixth as like a backup. So Christian McCaffrey, gamble, potentially worth the risk, I would say. Saquon Barkley looking to come back, bounce back, but the New York Giants are just a poverty franchise, so I don't know what's going to happen with him. Javonte Williams of the Denver Broncos looking to take the lead helm. So we'll see what happens with that running game. The running game is the biggest question mark for the Broncos. We're going to see what happens. They got two good guys there, but it just depends on who's going to win out the job. J.K. Dobbins is back from injury. He is back, and he is reliable, very reliable. So watch out for him. Elijah Mitchell coming off into his second year. Good rookie year. We'll see what happens with the Niners. Travis Etienne, this is the big one for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Injured last season in training camp, missed his entire rookie season. So this will be his first season in the NFL, and he is electric. So watch out for Travis Etienne. Moving now to rock solid. It's pretty simple. Aaron Jones, James Conner, Leonard Fournette. Nothing much more to say about them. Bubble boys, right? We got Cam Akers, who is coming off injury, played in the Super Bowl, but still coming off that injury, had a full offseason to rehab it. So watch out for Cam Akers. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, you don't really know about him anymore. So we will see what happens. Bryce Hall. He's a bubble boy just because he's on the Jets, but watch out for Bryce Hall. He could very well be the steal in anybody's draft. So watch out for Bryce Hall. Devin Singletary, I mean, is he ever going to take the lead in Buffalo? It's right there for him. I don't know. So that's why he's on the bubble. No really hard passes, but we have a bunch of fresh meats. But remember the name, Bryce Hall. All right, Bryce Hall, watch out for him. Absolute stud. Moving on to the wide receivers. All right, let's look at the wide receivers. So for the wide receivers, it's pretty simple. We got Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, right? Those guys are always going to get you your money, right? We got a bunch of gambles worth the risk this year. A bunch. Some highlights. Michael Pittman Jr. had a decent season with Carson Wentz last year, could have an amazing season with Matt Ryan this season. So watch out for Michael Pittman. Allen Robinson could have an amazing season in Los Angeles with Matt Stafford. Allen Robinson, remember that name as well. The Broncos receivers, Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, more people to keep an eye out for, okay? And then we got Amon-Ra St. Brown, an absolute stud, and going into his second year, right? This rookie season last season, and he was, I think, almost top 10, I believe, in fantasy. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, definitely a name that you need to keep an eye out for. A couple more here. Chris Olave, rookie from Ohio State on the Saints. I don't know how Jameis is going to do with him, but definitely if he gets the right quarterback, he is a weapon to want. So watch out for them. Rock solid, it's pretty easy. Devontae Adams, right? Mike Evans. A.J. Brown, who is now a Philadelphia Eagle, right? Traded from the Tennessee Titans. Only receiver who was wanted, only free agent receiver who didn't get a contract, didn't get re-signed, got traded, got shipped out. Is it him or is it the franchise? You be the judge. Tyreek Hill also on a new team, now on Miami, right? So Keenan Allen, right? Chris Godwin and Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney is an absolute stud, averaged more targets than anybody on the entire Bears roster last season. So Darnell Mooney is going to be solid for you. if you can steal him in your draft. I promise you that. We got some bubble boys here, right? Brandon Ayuk needs a breakout season. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, usually in the rock solid, now in the bubble boys because, let's be honest, they have no quarterback. They have zero quarterback there in Seattle, so that is something to watch. Robert Woods now in Tennessee. That's something to watch. Kadarius Toney, interesting name here, okay? So watch out for Kadarius Toney because if he gets the right quarterback, he is going to be an electric player to have as well. So watch out for that. Jameson Williams, rookie out of Alabama, on the Lions. Watch out for him. Juju Smith right now on the Kansas City Chiefs, the new basically main weapon for Patrick Mahomes. Watch out for him. And then look who's finally returned. Look who has finally returned. It is Michael Thomas. I can't believe it. It's a ghost come back to life. Michael Thomas has finally risen from the dead and graced us with his presence. Go figure. Go figure. Fresh meat, we got a bunch, but the main ones, right? Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, Sky Moore is a name to keep an eye out for. Treylon Burks is a name to keep an eye out for. Drake London is a name to keep an eye out for. George Pickens. I repeat, George Pickens is a name to keep an eye out for. John Menchie, just want to give a shout out to him. Hope he gets better. If you didn't know, he was diagnosed with a form of leukemia, I believe, cancer. He will be out for the entire season. So hope John Menchie gets better. Rookie out of Alabama on the Texans. All right, moving on to the tight ends. Tight ends are simple, but they're getting better. Tight ends are getting better, all right? My two money tight ends this year are Travis Kelce and, yes, Mark Andrews. These are my two guys that I believe are just absolute, just bank. Get them, keep them, utilize them, because they are going to be the ones who are oftentimes going to be getting you a lot of points. So, a couple gambles, right? Kyle Pitts, horrible rookie season. I wouldn't say horrible, but a slow rookie season, right? So he needs to pick it up. We got Dalton Schultz looking to show that he is the number one in Dallas. TJ Hawkinson, always solid. Pat Freiermuth. We'll see what happens with the quarterback situation there, so you got to watch out for that. Hayden Hurst now on the Bengals could be a gamble worth the risk. Way more of value than CJ Uzomah. So Hayden Hurst is a name to watch. And then Cameron Brate, because the great Rob Gronkowski has finally retired. We'll see if he actually does. But Cameron Brate is now the number one there in Tampa Bay, so watch out for Cameron Brate. Rock solids, right? George Kittle, always rock solid. Darren Waller, always rock solid. And then Mike Gesicki, one of my favorite tight ends, always rock solid. Zach Ertz, Dawson Knox. These guys, I think, are basically the epitome of rock solid, right? We got our bubble boys, right? Noah Fant being shipped off to Seattle. No longer really a very viable option, in my opinion. David Njoku, injury problems, right? We got George Everett kind of bouncing around teams. If you need like kind of a utility tight end, he could be the guy for you. Robert Tonyan, kind of same thing, injury problems, right? So watch out for these guys. The hard passes, I'm going to go with CJ Uzomah and Adam Trautman. I'm hearing CJ Uzomah is being beaten out in camp because he's dropping basically every pass to him. So watch out for that. Adam Trautman, really, a non-essential to any really fantasy roster. Some names to keep an eye out here is Trey McBride, Greg Dulcich, and I believe that is it. So Trey McBride and Greg Dulcich are the two names that you want to look out for. Jelani Woods as well, but those are going to be the two that you mainly kind of want to keep an eye out for. Moving on to the defenses, right? Your money defenses. We got Buffalo, the Rams, and the Cowboys. I mean, those are going to be your money defenses, although I know there's been tapes of Trayvon Diggs being burnt in camp, but it's okay. It's camp. That's what camp is for. It's to get all the rust off. So it's really not that big a deal come season time. Now, our gambles this year are the Chargers, who have acquired Khalil Mack. Huge acquisition, right? Khalil Mack now part of the LA Chargers. Packer defense, always good. Packer defense is always good. Buccaneer defense is always good. The Bengals defense was not up here last year, I will tell you that much. But the Bengals defense, what they did in the playoffs, expected to hopefully carry over into the season because they are a solid option to have at defense. I promise you. Denver Broncos, Raiders, Cardinals, and then the Jets. The Jets will always be the Jets, but they have built a crazy defense. It's like the Cleveland Browns with all the first-round picks. So watch out for the New York Jets. And then rock solid, it stays the same, right? You got the 49ers, who are always a solid defense. Saints, solid defense. Ravens, aside from last year, solid defense. You got your bubbles, right? These guys, I mean, you're generally going to want to stay away from. I don't really see anybody in here. Maybe Cleveland, you could possibly look at. Maybe Miami, possibly look at. But the rest of these guys, I don't really fear them or would value them as much in fantasy. Hard passes, I mean, it's obvious, right? You got the Giants, the Bears, the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Texans. Just the worst franchises that you could be. So that's going to be your defenses. Kickers, same thing, very simple, right? We got Justin Tucker, Matt Gay, Daniel Carlson, Nick Folk, and then we got, for our gambles worth the risk, Brandon McManus, always solid, but we'll see how the Broncos season goes this year. But definitely a solid option. Jonathan Garibay is a rookie. He is on the Cowboys. Expect him to win the job. Look out for him. He's supposed to be making big noise, kind of like Evan McPherson did last year. Are going down to rock solid. I mean, you got to give Shooter his credit, right? He 1 year in, he is a rock solid kicker. So Shooter McPherson, definitely a kicker that you want on your roster. Who else we got here? Tyler Bass, great option. Chris Boswell has been in this rock solid, I think, since he's joined the league. So Chris Boswell, solid option. He was hurt last year. Rodrigo Blankenship, same thing, hurt last year. Solid option. We got a bunch of bubble boys this year, so just watch out for that. We got some fresh meat kickers, right? Jonathan Garibay is the main one to look out for, so watch out for them. And then Cameron Dicker, the kicker from Texas, watch out for him too, because he is a solid kicker as well. That is going to do it for the quick draft guide. So it's all here for you. This will be posted on the website, anywhere that Fantasy Time has places to post stuff. This will be there for you. And the last thing that we're going to talk about today are the potential sleepers. Yes, the people that people might just be counting out, might not be expecting to have good seasons. I've got some sleepers for you guys that I think you guys need to keep an eye out for. Let's quickly go through this, right? Starting with the quarterbacks. Right, I got Russell Wilson as our number one sleeper this year. I think he's poised to have a great season now on Denver, right? Leaving Seattle. Now as a Denver Bronco, re-energizing not only that team, but the fan base, right? The city, the state, right? Everybody is pumped up that Russell Wilson is now the quarterback of the Denver Broncos. So watch out for Russell Wilson this year. Then we got Derek Carr. Derek Carr being reunited with his college teammate in Davante Adams. Davante Adams getting tired of the cold, getting tired of the Packers doing nothing for Aaron Rodgers. So he's like, you know what? I'm out of here. He's going to the desert, right? So Derek Carr has a ton of weapons this year. No excuses. Derek Carr has his no excuses year. He's got to prove it. He's got to prove that he is the guy to get the team there this year. So watch out for Derek Carr to have a big season. Next up, we got Matt Ryan, right? Matt Ryan not wanting to leave Atlanta, basically being forced out of Atlanta, right? And now on Indianapolis. Great offensive line. Good defense, great running game, good receivers. Watch out for Matt Ryan to have an amazing season there in Indianapolis. Second up, or last up, I guess, we got Trevor Lawrence, right? Trevor Lawrence going into his second season after an abysmal first year, but he had a crappy head coach, right? Let's be honest. Urban Meyer, terrible head coach. Now actually has a Super Bowl winning coach, right, in Doug Peterson. So we will see what Doug Peterson is able to do with Trevor Lawrence, who I think is going to have a good year this year. I think he's going to have a great second year, but we will see. We will see what happens. Moving on to the running backs, right? I got Javonte Williams. You're going to see a lot of Denver Broncos on this list because of what Russell Wilson brings to a team, right? So Javonte Williams, if they can get the running game right, if he can win the starting job, watch out for him because he's going to be making big plays. Big plays, I promise you that. Travis Etienne Jr., right? I talked a little bit about him in the quick draft guide. coming off injury last season, didn't get to play. This is basically his rookie season. Watch out for him to be an electric piece to an offense. And if they can utilize him right, he is a solid fantasy option. So watch out for him. Bryce Hall, right? Or Breece Hall, however you want to say it. But Bryce Hall is gonna be amazing, right? He's gonna be an amazing rookie running back. I feel it. As long as he can stay healthy, as long as Robert Saleh can get that offense somewhat in a rhythm, watch out for him to be big this year in fantasy. Leonard Fournette, now the only running back there in Tampa Bay, right? Ronald Jones gone. So Leonard Fournette is the guy. Watch out for him to get a lot of touches and hopefully return to his old self, because if he can, he is a solid fantasy option to have. J.K. Dobbins, right? Finally coming back, able to play. This guy is a solid running back. Many people are going to forget about him, but don't forget about J.K. Dobbins. He could easily get lost in the wash. J.K. Dobbins is a name that you need to remember. And then last but not least, in the running backs, we got Rashad Penny, right? Chris Carson retired because of injury. So Rashad Penny is the guy there in Seattle. It looks like finally had a solid last 5 or 6 games for them. So watch out for Rashad Penny to at least be the one good thing that Seattle does this season. Watch out for that. Moving on to the wide receivers, right? The wide receivers we got this year, number one, T. Higgins, right? Everyone's going to be looking at Jamar Chase, but T. Higgins could very well be the guy to just get every easy red zone touchdown, long ball. Watch out for T. Higgins, okay? Michael Pittman Jr. is our next guy. Matt Ryan has a weapon, right? He has a weapon that he can utilize. Michael Pittman Jr. had a good year last year. He could have a great year this year. Matt Ryan is the type of quarterback to turn a good receiver into a great receiver, right? Same thing, right, with our next guy, Allen Robinson. Same exact thing, right? He hasn't had a decent quarterback, I think, ever in his entire career, right? I don't think once. Now finally has a decent quarterback, easily could go from good to great. So watch Allen Robinson. Jerry Jeudy also coming off of injury, right? A lot of guys coming off of injury this year or last year. So Jerry Jeudy, a name to watch out for because of what Russell Wilson can do with a good stable of weapons, right? Marquise Brown was tired of not being used in Baltimore. So he's like, you know what? Just get me out of here. So he got traded to Arizona. So now he's out in the desert as well. We will see what Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown can cook up. The old Oklahoma connection reunites. So we'll see what happens there. Last but not least, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown going into his second season, an absolute dynamite of a weapon last season, had a super strong rookie year. So watch out for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Moving on to the tight ends, right? We got Mike Gesicki, always a solid option. Told you guys he's one of my favorites. If Tua can get on track, Mike Gesicki is a solid tight end option to have. Dalton Schultz trying to earn that #1 job there in Dallas, so watch out for him. Evan Ingram, no longer on the Giants, now on Jacksonville. If he can stay healthy, Evan Ingram is a name to watch, so watch out for that. Cameron Brate, right? Cameron Brate is now the lone tight end there of value in Tampa Bay at the moment. We will see what the season produces, but right now Cameron Brate is the guy there in Tampa Bay, or should I say Tampa Bay, right? So, and last but not least, we got the kickers, right? Brandon McManus, another Denver Bronco. Go figure, but he's always been a solid quarterback. No reason to think that with Russ, he would not stop being a solid kicker, not quarterback. Younghoe Koo, the best name in the biz. Younghoe Koo, solid kicker, always a great option to have. So Younghoe Koo can easily get you your fantasy points week in and week out. Jason Saunders, right? He has been a #1 fantasy kicker before. There's no reason to think that he can't do it again, especially with this offense that they have down in Miami. Watch out for that as well. And then Jonathan Garibay, right? This is the rookie kicker who, if he wins the job for the Cowboys, watch out for him. He could easily have an Evan McPherson type of season. And that's going to do it, right? That's going to do it for the guide. So I hope you guys enjoyed. All the information is there for you. And if you're not utilizing it, you're only hurting yourself. And that will do it for this episode of Fantasy Time. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you so much for tuning in, viewing. Hopefully, I hope the draft guide It is to your benefit. I made it for you guys. It has everything there for you. You use it. Use it. It'll be posted every place that Fantasy Time is able to post. So make sure, and we're just going to run through it, right? So make sure you follow us on Facebook, right? The Facebook change is going to be changing its name to the Fantasy, well, it's the same, I guess, at the Fantasy Guy 2021, but it's going to be, we're going to erase that, right? At the Fantasy Guy 2022. Yes, at the Fantasy Guy 2022. You can follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Time 2022, not 21, right? 2022. We're going to be updating that, but you can follow us there, and then make sure, of course, to check out our website, right? FantasyTimeSports.info, where all of this good stuff is there for you in one convenient location. It's all there for you, right? All the information is just laid out for you nice and easy. If at any point you like this video, please smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, just tap on that bell notification. That way, anytime new videos drop, you're right there. You're right there to consume the content, because we're going to be dropping knowledge all season long. So just do yourself a favor, help yourself out, and make yourself a better fantasy player, because that is our goal. That's going to do it here at Fantasy Time. I hope you enjoyed the new studio, right? Look at that new place. We are in a new place. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Again, please smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and until next time, I am Jacob Cutler, the Fantasy Guy, and I will see you guys soon.